It's another week and another brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before you go much further, make sure you hit that subscribe and also the bell because you do not want to miss an episode. If you'd like to follow me, the host, you can go to rubylynne.info, where it's all things Ruby. This week's guest, I'm so excited. We've moved in the same circles. We're the same age. Probably have the same type of fans, but we've never chatted. So I'm excited today to have her on the show, find out her story. How did she get in this business? And talk about her new big project coming up. So help me welcome Elaina St. James. Welcome, Elaina, to the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm so excited to finally meet you, sort of face to face.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's so nice to meet you too. Obviously, we've kind of known about each other for years, and it's so nice to be on your podcast. I haven't been on somebody else's podcast in quite a while, so yay, it's
Yay!
fun.
I know. It is fun when you get to be the guest. You have to think of the questions.
And it's the work. It's all the behind the scenes work of making a podcast. It's why I stopped for a while. I'm thinking of like redoing something else. But it's just there's so much work behind the scenes that people don't see
Right.
that is not as much fun as actually just coming on a show.
I know. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Yes, we move in the same circles since we're the same age, and I love that.
And we talk about our age. We're open about our age.
Oh yeah, I own it. I love it when people are like, "How old are you?" Oh, 58. I'm almost 59.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly. And I have another friend and she's actually older than me and she does the same thing. She's 60 and she owns it and it's great because you have to be you have to represent to know kind of the possibilities. It's like I think most people look up to Cher and Dolly Parton and that are just still rocking, they're still relevant, they're still beautiful, they're there and I look up to them.
Yeah, I love that. So, which brings me, I think we got in to the business sort of around the same age. I'm going on 6 years. So I was
Oh, yeah.
53 and I think you came in maybe about a year behind me, but
Yeah.
tell me or tell us, how did you get into porn? I mean, what
Yeah.
were you doing before? Did you wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to get naked on the internet"? So
Yeah,
tell us how you got
no.
here.
I'll tell you, I don't. I have never wanted to do that. Here's the deal. And I haven't done any studio, so it's kind of like this Venn diagram. I kind of think of my career as being like, yes, I'm the OnlyFans. Yes, I do adult, but then I do mainstream, so it's kind of this, and I film with adult entertainers, but I've never done any studio work. So it's kind of like I think in a lot of circles I would just be considered OnlyFans. And then some circles obviously adult or that. But it was in 2021. January of 2021, single mom, solo mom, working, selling insurance, making about $30,000 a year with no benefits, no future. I had had a long career in national sales before I became a mom, but then it was my most important thing is to be a present mom. Anyway, and I remember going outside with the dog and looking up at the stars. It was a frigid Midwest night, and I was just like, please give me some big idea. Please give me some big idea. And for me, I was always entrepreneur. So I was thinking an idea like a tangible product, but I was like, give me something that can change my life for the better financially. Please. I need to do this for me, for my son. Please present an idea, put an idea in my head. And at the end of February, I was scrolling along on Yahoo News and I saw an article about a creator on something called OnlyFans that was making 100 or more $1,000 a month. And I thought, well, that's a scam. That can't be real from the safety of her home because I mean over the years maybe guys would be like, "Oh, you could be a dancer." And I'm like, "Have you seen me dance?" Like I'm not going to ever go into anything like that. It's creepy, it's weird, like no. Like I didn't even send nude pictures or topless pictures to guys that I was dating. Like that just didn't happen because in the back of my mind, I was always thinking like, what if I meet some important man and I want to be,
That's
respectable
right.
lady? And I just never wanted to do that. So, but by this time, I was 53 when I saw that article and I thought, God, what if it was just that tingly feeling, when you're like, I need to pay attention to this. Like it was like light bulb. And so I started investigating for a solid month. Every night, I'd take care of the kid or the house, do my work, and then I'd come home and I would just be up all night on YouTube, Reddit, just different things trying to learn. And I knew nothing about social media. I had a Facebook because I was a mom. That's it. I didn't know anything about social media at all. But I learned and I was writing down. And then I was like, okay, I have to have a name. Who is this persona going to be? Like, should I really try it? And I tried it out and I started in the very last part of March. So I always, in my mind, it's April 1st is kind of when I went live
Okay.
and I wasn't showing my face, so I was faceless and I was showing like my lips maybe down. I had blocked people that I knew on Instagram. And because I was still working, I was afraid. And then for basically a month and a half, I was doing OnlyFans and Instagram. Within 4 days of being live on Instagram and OnlyFans, I went live the same day.
Uh-huh.
I had 4 subscribers. I had 4 subscribers, and I was shocked to realize they were young men. And the two first ones were 28 and 29 and I was like again I wasn't even showing my face and then I asked them I'm like really like I had no idea that this would be my niche. I thought my niche because I kind of have a dominatrix kind of playful dominatrix
Uh-huh.
side to me and I thought that was going to be my niche. Like I thought I was really going to niche down. It was going to be
Right.
older dominatrix and I thought yep I'll have all the corsets and the boots and the leather and you know little did I know now that is just you cannot even do that on Instagram. Thank God that wasn't my niche because that would have been a nightmare. It's a nightmare anyway. Yeah. But anyway, but I asked them, and then when I talked to them so much about what they liked about me, what it was, and then I'm like, should I show my face? And they're like, yes. So I started showing my face there and on Instagram. And by the end of April 2021, I had about 10,000 followers on Instagram. I
Okay.
had about 62 subscribers, but I had almost made what my monthly salary was at my insurance job. I'm almost made that doing part-time my first month on OnlyFans. And I thought, "Oh, this is something. This is something because I'm leaving money on the table
Yeah.
because I'm only doing it very, very part-time." So by the middle of May, I had already made the same amount. The my job, my boss had been, something she brought me in to bitch about something, as bosses do, and she was a millennial. No shame on millennials, but I didn't know anything because I was old, right? Like I didn't know anything in the 3 years I worked for her. I didn't know anything. And it was that moment I sat there and I thought, okay, I've already made enough. I've made what I've made online. I made online already what I make here for a full month. And I thought, I could go for it. I could really go for it. And as she's just, it's that moment that your viewers, when you are mistreated at a job and you've just been beat down and you feel bad about yourself and you just feel like you're stuck and you feel like you're almost abused because they're so mean. And I sat there and I could hear her yap, 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 like on Charlie Brown. And I was like, I'm gonna type up a resignation letter. I'm gonna hand it to her tomorrow. I'll sleep on it because I call it calculated risks. I never do anything without really researching. And I did that, and 2 weeks later, I gave her my 2 weeks, and I remember walking out the door, and it was like, you remember the, Angela Bassett thing where she walks out, she's got a flame, she throws it back, and everything explodes? That's how it felt, and I started my new life like that, and June of 2021, my big hope when I read that article from this other creator, this other, mom creator, was if I could just make 10% of what she's making, 10%, if I could make $10,000 a month, that would be life changing. It would absolutely change my life for me and my son. And in June, the third month, I think I made about $11,000. And I was like, and so that was, and then, since then, thankfully, it's been a roller coaster, as you
Sure.
probably
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but I've consistently at least that and sometimes fantastically more. And I've never looked back. Has there been downsides? Of course, but that's how I got started. 2021 was the time. I was 54. I reinvented my life. And that's part of my message all the time to men and to women is you're not too old. You're not too old. And that opportunity might come next Wednesday because I know what it's like to be hopeless. I know what that's like to be hopeless. And that's part of my mission is to spread that word that something, and it might not be OnlyFans, but it might be something, some opportunity. So hold on until next Wednesday and the next Wednesday and the next Wednesday, because it might happen.
That is a great story. Um, I actually juggled both for 2 years, like the secret
Wow.
life and working the social work, 8 to 5 thing. So I really give you credit. You treated it like a business right out the gate. And I think
100%.
that's really important too, is that your success has definitely shown that you got in for the right reasons and you were methodical about how you did it.
Know your why. Know your why. Why are you doing this? And I think it's easier when you're older. You were older, I was older. It's easier to know your why and to know your priorities. Honestly, and I've seen like on Randall's podcast, I've seen Cherie DeVille and some other people. They talk about this kind of business, and is there really? I don't like to hold people back, but yet like if I had a daughter, if I had somebody I was advising that was 21 or 18, I'd be like, don't
I
just
know
do other
it's
things
hard.
because for me, I knew what the risk was. I knew
Mhm.
there were going to be doors shut both personally and professionally. I was okay with that.
Okay.
But if I had somebody I cared about that was 18, 21, 25, I'd be like, do other things first because actually it is a business too. And it's kind of like any entertainment business. And this is why like professional athletes, musicians, other entertainers that have really quick success, if they don't have somebody behind them helping them,
Right.
they get all this fame, but then they lose all that money and they kind of burn out. And I think it's the same. I see so many similarities. I'm sure you do too
Mhm. Yeah.
with all the entertainment business, as above, so below. It's very similar. The roller coaster, the backbiting and the competitiveness and the mental strain on,
Yeah.
having a hit and then not having a hit, all those things.
It is. And for me, personally, I've talked about this a lot, is I had a mental health breakdown. Like it was late fall of 23. I lost my second largest Instagram, which was viral at the time and was
Yeah, I
literally
remember that.
feeding my OF. And
It was your cleaning one, I think.
oh yeah, it was the boob bouncing thing. And I push the limits. Like I take full responsibility for getting that. You ride the high. I don't know if it's like all these followers and yeah, 10, 12, $14,000 months on OF. And then when I lost that account, boom, plus the COVID money was starting to dry up. And so it was tough.
Mhm.
Owning your own business of any kind is rough.
Oh, but
Um,
but Ruby, it's really hard when you are dependent on everyone. And when I talk to some of my friends in the business about this, and Instagram really can make or break you.
yeah.
It is, I just went through a purge where every single one of my, and I have a bunch of Instagrams, but every single one of them, I got purged and I had to delete so many. I went from having 2 or 4 million views and
Mhm.
in the last few months to like 400,000
Yeah.
or 300,000. I have had the big viral reels
Mhm.
and and yes, I did that. It was like the satin robes and then I would drop the thing and then it would be open, you wouldn't be seeing anything.
Right.
But it has been Instagram is honestly, if when I'm out of this business, I can't wait to delete those accounts in some part of me because it has been so harmful. It's like a necessary evil,
Mhm.
but the mental stress
Yep.
that I went through 2 weeks ago when I had to delete all of these and they were swimsuit photos. Some
Right.
of them were full. Like, yes, they showed cleavage, but they were full. And I am verified on some of them. So I was able to talk to a Meta representative and I said, well, I'm in a full swimsuit or I'm in a full bikini at a pool or a beach. And they're like, well, you have to think about it with a 10-year-old. Would you be comfortable with a 10-year-old looking at it? And I said, yeah, because I could wear any of these at a Disney resort. What are you talking about? Like, literally, I could wear, it wasn't micro. It wasn't those ones where it's
Mhm.
a thin, I wasn't wearing
Right.
pasties. I'm just like, so it can be devastating. And now my
Yeah.
views are horrible and it absolutely affects your business. What other business other than kind of our business do people just hate us so much, to advertise when we're doing something legal? We're
Yeah.
doing something legal. So we're doing for something for adults and
Mhm.
yet it seems like the deck is stacked against us that it's like whether it's banking, whether it's trying to advertise, and they resent us. And I'll tell you, I saw Moseri, the CEO of
Yeah.
Instagram. He was on there and he was asked a question during a live and he goes, "Are you trying to get rid of the OnlyFans creators?" And he was like, "Well, they use our platform to market themselves." And I was so angry at that because I thought, who the hell isn't marketing themselves on
That's
Instagram?
right. That's
That's
right.
all that's happening. So, but that told me that, plus the Meta representative telling me about the 10-year-old, which I thought that is bizarre because I actually have all my accounts set for like 18 and above.
Yeah,
So
me too.
yeah, so I thought, what are you even talking about? Like, I see such garbage on Instagram, the scammy dating sites and stuff.
Yeah.
And but it's their house, their rules, like so I understand that, but it's very frustrating and I'm really sorry to hear about what you went through in 2023. And I've gone through those things too. Like you do have those highs of just like, yes, I finally made it. It's happening. And then it's like, girl. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would say social media is my biggest stress. I mean,
Yes.
just because I you don't it's like shooting fish in a bucket. You don't know what's gonna be okay, what's not. I mean, it's like a um mental abuse.
It is. No, and you come from a social working, so I'm sure you have some actual professional training knowledge about mental health. And you're absolutely right. It is the most stressful thing. And then you try to be safe. Like, then I do safe things. Like, I've got my little geeky series of Star Trek facts, which is really fun for me, but they don't get viewed. And I'm like, wait a second. I am fully covered.
Yep.
Even the dress is kind of long. And it's like, well, then okay, Instagram, shouldn't you be pushing the heck out of this? Shouldn't you be like, yes, Elaina, you are totally covered? Because now you're not, because probably my guys are like, well, God, I don't even see any skin. So wait, Instagram, you should be pushing this more. I will say that right now, it seems like they are pushing pictures of being fully dressed. Like some of my pictures of jeans and a t shirt, like carousels. are some of my best posts. I mean, the bar is you can see on any of my Instagrams, it's like October or like, when they started making me purge everything, it was like,
Yeah.
100,000 views with a bikini. And now, me looking like Spock, I have like, 8,000 views. I mean, you can see exactly when it went off the cliff and what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so stressful. I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, and there's really no safe place. I mean, Twitter's kind of safe and they can show full blown, but I can't be searched on Twitter. I don't know about
Yeah,
you. I'm unsearchable.
I haven't been able to be searched on there since before I even had my, not safe for work account.
Right. And then I have a safe for work Twitter too and X. And then now, like at about the same time, Meta started not allowing photos of bikinis and stuff. My safe for work, which has always been safe for work, fully clothed or bikinis or, swimwear, and has always been fine. Now they don't let me. I had one where I was, so, I have cleavage, I have big boobs, and I had a video and I sat down fully dressed, but I have cleavage. I was wearing a dress. X labeled that adult on my safe for work. So they've gotten in the last month, X has gotten really tricky about not allowing anything that could be perceived as suggestive. And that was the word that I kept getting on Instagram, sexually suggestive. Suggestive. I bet you, because I know I have, when I've been in relationships, I can look across the room and I can make a man have a hard on. God, that sounds really crazy, but it's true. I remember this, like when I had relationships. And so that could be considered suggestive.
Right.
Our
Right.
mere presence, our mere presence. No, I asked ChatGPT this. I'm like, what is sexually suggestive? And they're like, it could be. I said, could it be? And I said, it could be a look. It could be your physical body is perceived by an AI scanner as sexually suggestive.
Yeah, yikes, yikes. I do want to circle back though, because you mentioned something about choosing this line of work and how you have to be okay with the outcomes of that. Specifically, like for me, I always say I found out who didn't love me unconditionally when they find out what you do. How
Uh-huh.
has your choice, your career choice, affected your either family or personal relationships?
I will tell you, this is absolutely the most isolating thing that I've ever done in my life. It's incredibly isolating and it's really weird because I have fans that I talk to that, I love you, you're wonderful, that they care, but they're fans. I mean, that's the way it is. I haven't dated in almost 6 years. I can't even fathom that while I'm in this business, even though I haven't filmed with anyone since January. It's like, I just can't fathom being in this industry or even trying to, where would I meet somebody? And the problem is with a little bit of fame that we have, it's like they look you up and then because I tried this early on, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." Or they Google you and all of a sudden, or you become like a sex object instead of a human being.
Right,
Like
right.
it's then because I tried that, like 5 years or 4.5 years ago, and the one guy was just like he ghosted me when I told him what I did. Then another guy, he was great. It was like this was a good match. And all of a sudden I kind of told him and then he just starts going into dirty stuff. Like it was a flip. I was no longer a person. I was a thing. And that really turned me off. And then there's all these guys, and I'm sure you get them too, that are like, will you be my sugar mama? Oh, will you support me? I'll be your house husband, that kind of thing. And I have a kid to raise. Like I'm not looking to support some guy, you know. Now with friends and family, I lost a lot of friends.
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't have a tremendous amount of friends, but those that I had, I really only have one that's not in the industry. The rest of them either wanted something from me, Like it was obvious they wanted something. Oh, I have another, I have a couple friends, but it's so isolating. And then there are some people that you just knew would never accept it. So you kind of froze away from that.
Right.
And then family, I've lost my family. Like there is no family anymore. Like, and that's probably the saddest thing is that means also that my kiddo doesn't have any contact with his cousins.
Okay.
Um, I mean, we moved last year, but there was an iciness that even when we got together for any kind of family things, they would never talk about what I do. I mean, not even like when I had huge thing in Huffington Post or Business Insider, things that were like legitimately mainstream or that I had written a book or, things that were not sex related,
Okay.
but they just didn't want, I don't think they wanted their kids to know what I did. And they were ashamed and they just, I mean, my God, I was like giving my kid a life finally
Right. Right.
of abundance and of giving him financial security and myself. And not even when kids were out of the room would they talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Now, my mom, she passed away last year, but she liked it. She thought it was funny. I mean, she didn't know everything, but
Right.
she thought it was fun and she was very supportive. Now, would she have been supportive if I was making like no money? No. It was because I was successful. But
Right.
she got a kick out of it because she was just like, "They wanna see you over 50?" And then she was like I remember her saying she was a breast cancer survivor,
Oh.
and she goes, "Do you think they'd wanna see an 82-year-old with 1 boob?" And I was like, "Yes, they would.
And you'll
Somebody
make a
would.
lot.
There's a market for that, I have no doubt, but I don't have time to manage your career. So, you're just on your own." Um, but yeah, no, my sisters, they're half sisters, but they don't talk to me. They don't reach
Yeah.
out. Even after my mom died, suddenly I got a phone call, and that was about it from one sister to just tell me. But I have never talked to my other sister. I think other people just their calls stop. It is very isolating. This is why when women ask me and they're like, "What do I have to lose?" She goes, "Oh, what do I have to lose?" I've had women that come on and they want yeah, and I'm happy to answer questions and stuff as long as they're respectful. But I'm like, you have a lot to lose.
Oh,
You have a tremendous amount to lose.
yeah.
Thankfully,
Hmm.
my kiddo is, loves me and has we have a great open relationship and I don't think that's going to be a problem because he realizes that I've been in this long enough that there's a reason that we've been able to travel, that we have a nicer home, that he's able to get things that he wants and that he
Hmm.
has this financial stability. But,
Right.
I know that I think you have some older kids.
Yeah.
And it might not be that way. So do you have a lot to, yeah, you have a lot to lose. Like I can't even,
You do.
the thought of falling in love again seems as foreign as me being crowned Miss America. It seems so unlikely. And yet I go, well, I mean, I guess in theory it's possible. And God, wouldn't that be nice to just be with somebody and cook with them and take a walk and hold somebody's hand? I mean, it's those simple things. I almost get verklempt here. I almost get emotional
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, I've been with really gorgeous porn stars, really sexy, but that's work.
It
We're
is.
creating something. I'm an actress, he's an actor, and I'm very fond of so many of them. They're really, and they're adorable. And obviously there's a physical thing that's just like, you're so pretty. Like there's a part of that that's just like, I get to do this. Oh my God, Ryan Driller, who is just fabulously good looking. And he's porn Superman. And they're adorable, but they're not kissing me, they're not holding me, they're not
Right.
they don't there's nothing about me that they really like.
Right.
It's a job.
I know what you're saying. It is a job, and I think I have, some longtime fans that, I probably chat with more, and they're, like, big supporters, and when I'm very transparent with them. I'm kind of a what you see is what you get, and they'll, talk to me about things, or I'll see them at expos or whatever. And it's funny because they have, this what they see and they see as that fantasy, but as they get to really know you as a person and know what you go through to produce this content, like all the work that it takes, and just some of the funny stuff. And I had one fan that's been with me a long time and is like, "Oh, I love this one scene you did, blah blah, and the cream pie and everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was a faked cum shot." And he's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to when you're trying to
Right?
shoot a scene." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was a fake cum shot." And he's just like, "Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing." Like they have no idea
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, and think about it. It's like I watch and I enjoy watching Christopher Hemsworth or Chris Hemsworth as being, Thor, right? And while you're watching that movie, he's Thor and he's, hot and he's sexy and he's a superhero. And then we know that it's not really happening. And so I try not to pull that veil, but yeah, of course, there's that. And it's funny because what I've noticed too is guys will be like, "What's your favorite scene?" And I'll be like, "Any of my scenes with this guy, like with Ryan, like those are my favorite scenes because we have more of a chemistry." And then they'll be like, "Okay, I would like the one with this guy." And I'm like, "Okay." You know, and that's one thing I've learned when guys will say, like, "Show me what's your hottest video?" Well, solo or with somebody else, and it's like I've always learned it's whatever my take is on it is not going to be their take on it.
Right.
So it's like for me, I always am like, I can tell you what my favorite scenes are, but they might not be yours. You need to look at the previews. That's why I have previews
Yeah.
so that you can do, and because every guy is so different, and sometimes they'll surprise me because I'll be like, well, I never would have suggested that one, but here you go.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
just don't know what somebody's into. But yeah, no, I have some, I call them kind of my super fans,
Yeah.
and I let them get in behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
And one said something recently because I was like being very real and honest with him about something. And he goes, "I remember when you just used to send me pictures of your butt." And I'm like, I know. I
Those are
mean,
the
they're
good old
still
days.
there. Those pictures are still there, but this is the real me in my robe and my hair on top of my head. And, you get the real kind of not the curated me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And my brand is sort of comedy anyway. Like I like to do the unexpected, so they kind of expect that funny thing. Um so that's fun. What do you have up next? Do you have any big plans for 2026? Any big projects you want to let us in on?
that is called a leading question. I can't imagine why. Well, first of all, I will say that guys will ask, "Oh, when are you going to do another BG, boy, girl?" And I'm just like, I don't know. I've got a lot. I've got like 21, and there is so much that goes. Listen, porn stars, professional actors and actresses that live in LA, it's easy for them. They're like, "Hey, why don't you come over? We'll do a collab," like that kind of thing. It's easy. When you're not living in LA or
I
Miami,
know.
and then, it's the testing and it's the location and it's this, and I hire my male talent, so it's their costs. There's so much involved. And I really literally, because I do treat it like a business, I have to look to see, is this going to make me a profit and how quickly? If it's not going to make me a profit, it's really not worth it. It's like, I'm sorry, like, yeah, these are pretty men and they're cute and everything, but I look at this as a profit. I'm not doing it just because I'm like, "Oh, I'm horny. I'd like to have sex with this man."
Yeah.
No, it's a business. And if it's not going to make me money. So one of the things that I've done for the years, Ruby, I have been opposed to any sort of coaching or kind of like method. Here's my methods because I've seen so many people be ripped off, and
Mhm.
I've been ripped off. Like I have bought some of these too, where I'm like, well, that was not worth $970, whatever it is. And I've heard other
I have
people,
2.
and they get one sheet of like tips, and I'm like, that's it? Or they're like, "Oh, and for 2,500, I mean, $2,500 to learn some Instagram method." But then you look at this this person that's teaching this Instagram method. She has 5 million followers, but you look at her recent, like her views, and they're garbage.
Right.
So then you realize she was really popular and she got all of these followers 5, 10 years ago. Or maybe she bought a page that already had 3 million people, because
Yeah.
you can do that. You can buy pages, Instagram pages, and then you put your own stuff on there. Or you can bump things up. You can buy likes, you can buy views. Like, there's all kinds of this underground meta
Right.
Instagram systems, right? So I really was opposed to selling other women primarily. I just didn't like it because I really thought I learned mostly from YouTube and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to take advantage of women. Like, even though my fans are men primarily, like, there's a sisterhood part of me ethically that I don't want to take advantage of women. Now, if they come on my page and they ask me a lot of questions and
Yeah.
they don't tip me, that's not right, because when I started and I went on other women's pages, and if I had a question or even just to comment, I would, out of respect, send them a tip and be like, just want to let you know, I love what you do, or I have a question, but then I would tip them. I would never expect them to give me any of their time without something. Like, I respect that, just like if you go to a doctor, a lawyer, a professional. But I started looking into these digital products and I was like, I wonder, I have something to offer. And it's not the OnlyFans thing. This is more broad,
Okay.
because as we talked about a little bit, there are people that really know how to work OnlyFans. I mean, they have it down. And you know these people and I know these people. Holy cow, they have 25 people working for them and they have a freaking system, and bless them.
Right.
Bless them. It's great. Mine is more boutique and more niche,
Yeah.
because I'm not a 25-year-old blonde, so my niche is smaller, the pie is smaller, but there's an advantage to that. I'm older, but there's an advantage to that.
Mhm.
I call it the second act advantage. So I started thinking about a digital product that would be affordable, that if I had been 5 years ago, had seen
Yeah.
it, I could have afforded it, but yet it would kind of lay out the foundation of how not to just be successful on OnlyFans or fan sites, but how to be successful online, building a personal brand. So I built this. It hasn't been launched yet, but the first part is like elevate. So it's about your personal brand, the name, your brand pillars, kind of who you are,
Mhm.
who you're going to present, and why, and knowing your why. So that's a whole little digital course. It's going to be a webinar, so it'll be me talking in a little bubble, and then slide presentation. I just got done editing that. The one is like 2.5 hours, and the second one is close to 4 hours.
That's awesome.
It's chocked full with information. So there's an elevate, and then there's monetize. And the monetize really goes into PR, media, leveraging and being able to pivot, leveraging what you've built and doing things like podcasting, affiliate marketing. There's, other things, AI. There's so many other ways to make money online,
Right.
and how to build a brand that you're not just pigeonholed, because you were in the business as I was in the fall or August of 2021. I'm sure you remember when OnlyFans decided they were not going to allow any adult. And obviously there were still other places like Fansly and things, but it's like that was a good reminder that at any time this could be just shut down. This business as a whole could just be shut down.
Right.
If you don't have a brand, you have no way of pivoting, because your audience only knows you for just thirst trap.
Right.
That's it. You have no way to pivot out or do anything else. And
Mhm.
I mean, my dream, if I could do anything, would be a travel like blogger.
Right.
That would be my dream.
Mhm.
It's probably never going to happen, but what I'm able to do is, with this business, I'm able to incorporate some of that. That's part of my brand, is travel.
Yes.
I'm able to incorporate pieces of that to
Mhm.
make it a more full brand. So That I'll be doing. I think I'm going to be selling it on, there's a company called the Stand Store, but right now I have an Instagram that's focused on that and a website called Elaina Empowers. So I've got that Elaina Empowers, and it's really going to be for anybody that's like over 40, over 50 that wants to reinvent or get themselves a personal brand and get themselves into the media, because that is the one secret sauce that I probably do. I'll put myself, with USA Today last month, People Magazine last month, The Blast, The Sun, and that's all that I did with no help from any publicist.
Right, right.
That's something that I can actually offer my methods, that I will put my PR methods up against anybody's. So
Yeah, you've
that's
definitely
what I'm
been
working on.
published a lot. You've been
Yeah,
published a lot.
yeah, yeah,
And see,
which
I
is
thought
great.
you
And that
had a
was my
PR
goal.
person.
What was that? Oh, no.
I thought you did. Yeah, I'm like,
I mean, I
dang.
have. I have, and I know how to vet those people, and I know what they can do and what they can't do. And I go into that with my course and how to vet them, because I've had, and they've mostly been in this business. I know you know one of them, but I've had about four in the business.
Really?
And yeah, oh yeah. So, and I know the ins and outs and of them all, and I know what to look for and what they can do and what they can't do. And there is a time that having a professional probably is helpful, but at a certain point you're better on your own. Like, they would not have been able to get, none of them would have been able to get me in People Magazine. And why do I know that? Because they didn't. Because they didn't. Because I had wanted to be, for me to be in People Magazine was full circle. That was for
Yeah,
me, because that's the first article I saw in 2021 was this mom in People Magazine. And for
that's
me,
right.
and there was so much back work that I did
Yeah.
before this happened. Like, and I go into that.
Okay. Cool. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah. Oh, well, it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is.
The program. Yes.
Yeah, the whole program thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, so and I think that it's more than just for people that are thirst trap only fans. It's really any lifestyle brand. You might have a pottery shop or a yoga studio, or maybe you want to sell a digital product that's about your candle making.
Mhm.
It's all about personal branding. If you don't have a personal brand, if you're just like, you know, and I don't want to use name Sarah Joe or whatever. If you're just Sarah Joe and you're hot, well, you will be very successful,
Right, right,
possibly,
right.
because you're just a hot young woman. Like, there's some things that you can't teach. And that's the other thing. What I notice, some of these people that teach these courses are these drop dead, physically advantaged, just stunning young women. And it's like,
Right.
okay, honey, maybe you have some methods and maybe it's very good for you. There's a big part of your success that is just, you are drop dead gorgeous. Like, you are stunningly beautiful.
Right.
That's a big part of your success. Like, just let's call it. Like, I'm going to call it. Part of my success is I'm old. I'm an old lady and I talk about it. That's a huge part of my success, the scarcity of
Yep,
being an old lady.
yep.
I don't shy away from it. But if you're going to take advantage, or you're going to be talking to me, if you're a beautiful young blonde,
Yeah.
what do I have to teach you? Like, it's a different market. But if you're a 50-year-old and you want to be a travel blogger, now I have something I can probably offer you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I can't wait to have it come out
Yeah, well,
and
I'll have to send it to you, and you'll probably be like, "Oh my God, she really does talk a lot." Blah blah blah. I went, I went through and I got rid of all my ums. I don't know if you've ever recorded yourself and then you've gone through and had the AI take care of, like, the ums, and I'm just like, "Oh my God, I say so many times. It's ridiculous and embarrassing." Those little filler words.
right. I totally get it. I know. I have an editor for my podcast now. Is my partner. But I'm like,
Okay.
when I was editing my own self, I was like, "Oh my god, why did I say that?"
Right? I mean, so I do you understand, like, I do all my own editing, even of my, like, spicy stuff.
Yeah.
and I'm pretty used to it and I can kind of put that headset on. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, this is why actors and actresses don't want to see their own stuff.
I hate editing my own stuff. I had
Oh,
an editor that was amazing, but they just closed shop. So I need to find another one because I hate.
oh my God. It's just like, ugh. You know, I don't know. So fans do this to me sometimes, and it's always funny. And I'm very genuine with them, but they'll tip like a picture or something. And if it's just my boobs, I'm fine with that. Like that doesn't freak. But the pictures that I take, and we have to take these weird pictures of our buttholes or our, our close-ups of our hoo-has or whatever. And then they'll tip that and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so sexy. And I'll go to look to see what they tipped. And I'm like, oh, geez.
I
Wow.
know. I
Yeah,
know. It's crazy. I love it. Well, I have loved getting to know you. I think we need to think about doing a part two
that'd be
after the
great.
first of the year because there's so much we didn't even get to today. So I definitely want to talk to you at some point about AI and
Oh,
all that
yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And thank you, Ruby. It's been such a long time since I've been on a podcast. It's really fun because this is such an isolating business
yeah.
to be able to be even communicate on screen.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very nice.
It is awesome. I loved having you on. Tell people where to find all your stuff, spicy or not.
Yes. Yeah. So all of my stuff is on my website, Elaina Verified, and it's ELAINA verified.com or ElainaSt. James.com. It'll direct you to my website. On my website, obviously it's the spicy places, the OnlyFans of Fansly, but then my Instagram pages, I have a little AI chatbot where you can make custom photos. So we should talk about that because that's crazy. And then also my media. I don't know if I have my USA Today on there, but if nothing else, just Google me if you want to see my things. Oh, and I'm on YouTube too. So I have my own YouTube channel, Elaina St. James, as well. That has a lot more safe for work stuff on there and reviews and try-ons.
Awesome. I love how well-rounded you are with the safe for work and not safe for work. That's really important for sure. For
It's
sure.
part of the secret sauce.
Well, I
Yeah.
wish you all the best of luck. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
let's do part two soon.
Sounds great. Thank you,
Thank
Ruby.
you.
Bye, guys.